This is Pastor Amaris Ross-Hillard with your inspirational minute on the Christian Mix 106. Listen, I'm looking out of my window and it just started raining sideways. Has it ever started raining sideways in your life? I'm talking about everything was fine. You were covered. Everything was working according to schedule. And then all of a sudden, everything just started going left. I mean, things just started flying in every direction after you had everything perfectly organized, everything perfectly planned and scheduled. Well, guess what? I've lived long enough, like my grandmother says, keep living. I've lived long enough to see that things do not always go as planned. Things do not always go as scheduled. Certainly, things do not always go as we expect them to. But I love the Lord because not only has He heard our cry, not only has He pitied every groan, but He sent a word for us to remain encouraged. I want you to know that whatever's shaking, you don't have to let it shake you. It might frazzle you for a minute. Fear might come in for a moment, but it can't stay. Why? There's the word of the Lord for our lives in Jeremiah 17, the 8th verse. It says, "They will be like a tree planted by the water that sends out its roots by the stream. It does not fear when the heat comes. Its leaves are always green. It has no worries in a year of drought and never fails to bear fruit." Y'all, does that not sound like life right through here? It's hot, and I'm not talking about outside. I'm talking about the temperature is turned up in your relationships. The temperature is turned up at your job. Things like the rain outside of my window seems to be coming from the left and blowing sideways. But I want you to know, people of faith, that we get to be like a tree planted by the water. Doesn't matter if it's hot. Doesn't matter if it's a time of drought. Have you ever seen a time like right now? We're in the midst of a pandemic. We're in the midst of a time where the racial climate is so tense. But nonetheless, we get to be like a tree planted by the water. We get to let peace consume our minds. We get to let anxiety flee out of the window. We get to let righteousness and rootedness stand up in us. This is the word for our lives. Don't let what's shaking shake you. Don't let it throw you off course. Don't let it change your mind about God. He's always been with you and He's currently right there. I want you to be encouraged today. This is the word of the Lord. Don't let what's shaking shake you. I'm Pastor M. Thank you for listening to the Christian Mix 106.